Hey everybody, Glenn here from Good Movie Monday. Welcome to another one of our summer series videos. The videos that we do in between the show while it's on a break, and we talk to some interesting people. And I've got a very interesting person with me for this video. This is Gerald Rascionato, the director of a new film called Claw, which has been released by Eagle Entertainment. Hey Gerald, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. It's very subjective who's interesting or not, but hopefully I will be interesting enough.
Well,
Just
that rests on your shoulders, mate. I'll just sit here and let you do your work. But I want to introduce people to you. I want to get to know you a little bit before we talk about Claw. I want to know, how does a young guy from New South Wales go on to make Open Water 3 and then Claw in the USA? How does that all come together?
Mhm. It comes from believing in yourself and having a big dreams and being inspired by great, awesome filmmakers like Steven Spielberg. Obviously, I got the Indiana Jones hat on, and just having a really strong passion so I've always wanted to be a filmmaker ever since I was just a little kid. I was mucking around with the home video camera, and at the time I was editing with the VCR. So I didn't have like a laptop or a computer with proper editing software, but I was making do with what I had. And I'd always, even from the very first moment that I picked up the video camera, I was like, I want to make a feature film. Like, it wasn't just that I wanted to make short films, I wanted to make an actual like feature film. But the idea didn't come to me until way later. I went to college and got my Bachelor of Film Production at SAE in Byron Bay. And then I moved to Sydney and worked in Fox Studios for Ambience Entertainment as an assistant editor and stuff like that. And the whole time wanting to make a film, but then one day the idea came to me for Open Water 3 Cage Dive, which at the time, of course, it wasn't meant to be part of the Open Water franchise. It was just meant to be my version of a shark movie like Jaws, which is about three friends that go shark cage diving, and their boat is capsized by a freak wave, and they end up in the water with the sharks that they were trying to look at through the cage. And so basically what actually happened was, I'm going to try and make this really short, but I had to have a back operation because I had to have a laminectomy and a discectomy, which means they had to take out a vertebrae out of my spine because it was crushing my nerves. And and it just so happened to be that while I was in my hospital bed, it was Shark Week on Discovery Channel, and there was like a little TV up there, and I was watching, and I was like, I've always wanted to make a shark movie in particular, just like Jaws. And then it just kind of hit me when I was watching this documentary, and I was thinking about the cameraman who's filming it. And then I was like, well, no one has done like a found footage shark movie where these friends could be filming the whole thing, and it's all from that point of view. And that got me really excited. And then I jumped out of the bed and went, oh, my back. And the ideas kind of flew from there. And fortunately, it had a really great hook and some great actors in it. And Lionsgate and Grindstone, which is a Lionsgate company, had tracked the film since it got made, like tracked it in festivals, and they really wanted it. And they wanted it, and they told me, Gerald, would like to put it in the Open Water franchise. And I was kind of I felt really complimented by that, because Open Water also inspired me too. But there was a bit of ego where I was like, but I just want it to be Cage Dive, but it is just Cage Dive in Australia and some other countries too. So I got the best of both worlds.
Mate, that is amazing. You're going to have to make one where you've got a shark diver that's had a disc removed and see how he can handle it.
That's boring.
Well,
Uh,
okay.
I'm just kidding around.
No, that's why you're the creative here, mate. But what about like, so then how do you go from that to making a movie like Claw in the States?
Hmm. Claw is something that turned out a lot more, uh, I guess, maybe bigger than what was originally anticipated, because Joel Hogan and I were living together in Los Angeles, and Joel Hogan was starring in Cage Dive. And basically, a good friend of mine introduced me to a US distributor named ITN Distribution,
Mm-hmm.
who give a very small amount of money to random filmmakers to go off and make a very small, low budget film. And Joel and I were in between projects, and then we're kind of like, well, maybe just for fun, we can make this film and it'll pay for our rent and all of that. But we soon discovered that we couldn't just make a film just for the sake of making the film. We actually had to pour all of our heart and soul into it. It can't just be a throwaway film. It's just not how I work, and I'm talking for him, but I assume it's not how he works either. And so when we pitched a few ideas to him. We pitched ideas about aliens and about a scientist that's doing experiments on college students. And then just for fun, we said, we pitched this idea about a dinosaur in a ghost town. And straight away, the distributor said, I want the dinosaur movie. And we were kind of getting a little bit excited about the Alien movie and all this, and then he was like, "No," he's kind of like Sylvester Stallone the way he talks too, like he's kind of like mafia. And he's like, "No, I want the dinosaur movie, the dinosaur." And then me and Joel were like, "All right, well, let's think of the rest of how this is gonna go."
Oh, dude, I was going to ask you, like, dinosaurs are such an odd creature for, a contemporary horror film like this. I was going to ask where the genesis came from, but if it just sort of came from you guys throwing it out there off the cuff, that's hilarious. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it did work out that way, because Jurassic Park is also just as big to me as Jaws. So I got my kicks out of making a shark movie and then making a dinosaur movie.
Well, speaking of Jurassic Park, like, where did you have, when you were making Claw, did you have any other movies that sort of served as a compass for you as you were making it, that you sort of drew influences from or tried to avoid being like?
Yeah. The only thing that we wanted to avoid being like was like really, really terrible Z grade movies. We knew we didn't have an awesome budget to work with, so it's going to be sort of like a B grade type of film. But we just didn't want to be like the many other films that you have fun making fun of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
definitely,
it's no Velocipasta.
I did. Yeah, I don't want to say it.
Which
Not,
I have seen Claw, and I can guarantee people it is no Velocipasta. Like, it's a different kettle of fish. So the story takes place in a ghost town. Was that a real ghost town, or did you have to build that for the production?
No, it was a real ghost town, because we tried to find places that were already kind of made up to work within the budget.
Yeah.
And just in Ridgecrest, which is out in California, just outside of LA, was this ghost town that we kind of built action scenes around. This. Yeah. There was actually a few different ghosts. There was actually like maybe two different ghost towns, and Joel knows the name of them. He, because he helped me produce it, and so actually it's probably the better one to ask about that. But yes, they were real.
I'm assuming that you had no trouble getting permission to film in these places. Are they actually managed, or are they just actual ghost towns where there is, no, I guess, supervision there?
Yeah, no, there's supervision and there's caretakers, and it's funny because you wonder how much to say, but we did have we got permission at first.
You can say no more if you want.
No, that's all right. I'll quickly say this, that we did have a little bit of trouble where the caretakers didn't get along with some of the crew, and and that's when we had to hunt for another ghost town and shoot, and we kind of shot around. But then in the end, we all came together and made up and got it done.
Well, I mean, if you were alternating between two different towns, it's seamless. You wouldn't know it in the film.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
So,
magic of the movies.
so did the I don't know the history of this production as to when you filmed it. Was this pre-pandemic, or did the pandemic play any part in your production?
No, this was all pre-pandemic. The word you just said.
Yeah, well, that's lucky. So, like, has the pandemic come into any of your other plans that you've had since making this film? Like, have you got other projects that have been sort of delayed because of the pandemic?
Yeah, marginally delayed, but Downsize Me, I'm sure you can see that on the screen, is the new project that I'm working on at the moment, and it's a really fun documentary, and it's basically about a big transformation that I went on a few years ago, a big weight loss transformation, and it was all through a form of intermittent fasting called OMAD, which means 1 meal a day. And I did that for 6 months and had my transformation where I lost 33 kilos. And my filmmaker brain was going off thinking, wow, wouldn't that be amazing to have a group of people and take them on the same journey and actually document the whole process, all the ups and downs, and basically capture that journey to inspire and motivate others. And there's also, the other really cool thing is that there's going to be some pop culture references sprinkled throughout the movie that contain sort of knowledge about fasting and how to do it in a fun way. Like there'll be like an Indiana Jones parody and a Back to the Future parody. So I'm really, really excited because it's everything that I've always wanted to do all combined in this one project.
Well, that's cool. I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on what you're doing, so that when that is ready to drop, we'll definitely be happy to have you back, perhaps on the show itself, so we can talk at length about it. That'd be great.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Awesome.
So before I let you go, I do want to just quickly ask you, because an odd yet very entertaining aspect to Claw is the Laugh Factory. Was that the real Laugh Factory? Did you get permission to film there?
Yes. There's just an amazing thing about living in LA. Is just that Joel and I lived just up the street from the Laugh Factory. So we literally walked down there. We went to the Comedy Store as well. And this was sort of, when we were in post, that's when like COVID was happening and it was pretty tough. But fortunately, we got permission at the Laugh Factory and we went in there, and it was very cool. It was very iconic. And I'm sure that China, who plays Julia in the film, got a real big kick out of being on the actual stage where so many great comedians have done their stand-up.
Absolutely, and that's a really good teaser for people that haven't seen Claw, because how does the Laugh Factory factor into all this? Well, you're going to have to watch it and find out. And we're actually going to be giving away copies of the film on DVD at Good Movie Monday, so keep your eyes on our website. That'll be going up very soon. We have a couple of copies, so we will be giving those away. But I just want to thank you so much for taking time. Like, this is a fascinating film. It's kind of got all kinds of juicy little things in there, including the Laugh Factory, which just caught me off guard, and I loved it. But looking forward to your new film as well. So thanks so much for your time, man.
Thank you. Yes, and I have to say that I really love doing this. This is basically what you make the film in order to enjoy it in front of an audience and to be able to talk to passionate people like you who love what they're doing and love movies. So thank you for having me on.
Well, my pleasure, and let's do it again when the next film comes.
Love to.
live in a ghost town. I hear all kinds of damn strange noises out here at night.
No, really, what was that? Did someone live out there?